Fire glows, oak softens, and the last master cooper in England works by eye alone. No ruler, no jig, just rhythm, heat, and memory. He'll show you how a medieval initiation called trussing the cooper guarded a craft that still feeds modern breweries. Follow the arc from shrinking trade to small batch revival, where a single cask can change beer, wine, and whiskey. You'll hear the ring of steel hoops, the hiss of steam, and the quiet click that means watertight. Have you ever heard a circle being built by hand? The ring of hoops, the dull thud of stave seating. This is how a barrel tells you it's true. A barrel looks simple. It isn't. The body swells at the belly and narrows at the ends. Each stave is flat on the bench, yet together they rise into a double-arched shell. Edge bevels change from end to middle. Thickness creeps a hair where the belly needs muscle. The shape locks when the curve meets the circle. Flat boards don't make circles. No glue, no gasket. So why doesn't the drink thread through every seam? Because each board doesn't meet as a face. It meets as a wedge. Think of a stone arch. Each block steals a bit of space from its neighbor until nothing can fall. Here, the hoop plays gravity. It pulls the line tight. Metal squeezes, wood yields, then pushes back. Inside, the liquid does work too. Hydrostatic pressure urges the staves outward. The hoops answer with inward force. That tug of war sets a firm seal. As the oak drinks, it swells and shuts the micro gaps. The circle learns its load and settles into balance. Steam and fire shape the promise. Heat softens lignin so the stave will take a bend. The bulge stores spring, like a bow held in a metal belt. Release the pull and it wants to open, but the hoops say, hold. That stored push keeps the seams kissing under stress. Oak helps in quiet ways. Its pores are lined with tyluses that block flow along the grain. The rays run like rails across the width. When the wood swells, those paths close and stay snug. Other woods leak or sour the contents. Oak plays along with liquid and time. Listen for the proof. When the chime meets the croze, there's a small click, not a clank. A quick, neat seat. That sound says the head has found its groove, the oval is true, and the arch in 360 degrees just locked. So what makes a barrel tight with no glue? Precise wedge geometry, hoop compression, and swelling oak. This is how hand and physics shake hands. Time to meet the tools that cut those wedges by eye, not by ruler. Here are some tools that look medieval because they are. Adze, sunplane, drawknife, croze. They still beat the jig because they speak the same language as oak. Each one has a single job and does it with feel, not offense. The adze roughs the belly. The drawknife sets the line and bevel. The sunplane joints the edge from flat to curved. The croze cuts the track that holds the head tight. Watch as the adze bites, short arcs, clean chips. It works like a sculptor's mallet, but with a blade that walks the curve. A few strikes shift the belly from stiff to alive. Then the drawknife comes in. Hands wide, blade close. It shaves high spots and sneaks up on the bevel that will kiss its neighbor without a gap. You can see the edge lean more near the midline, less toward the chime. The circle asks for that change, and the knife answers. Now the sunplane. Low angle, long pass. It kisses only the bright spots where light shows a bump. You hear the tone change as the face goes from rough to true. That sing is the cue. No gauge needed. The plank tells you. Research on the craft says these tools stayed the same for centuries because the geometry stayed the same. The form never moved, so the kid never had to. Here comes the croze. Think record player arm. A pivot, a cutter, a steady hand. It traces a perfect track inside the shell. One pass too deep and the barrel weeps. One pass too shallow and the head floats. The cut must match the arc, and the arc must match the hoop. This is where eye meets math without a ruler. Modern shops love jigs and gauges. They make parts that match a drawing. But the circle here is not a drawing. It is wood with grain that runs, swirls, and shifts. Edge bevels vary across the stave. A practiced hand reads shadow, shiver, and pushback, then shifts angle on the fly. Machine symmetry looks clean, but hand-tuned compression puts squeeze where it counts. How does a cooper measure a perfect curve with only eyes? Light, shadow, sound, and resistance. Each pass is a test, and the wood answers. The tools set the form. Fire and steam set the memory. Time to bend oak without breaking it. Watch as dry oak becomes a ribbon. No clamps yet, just heat, steam, and a timed pull. Staves stand tall like ribs. A temporary hoop lifts them into a loose ring. The shell looks shy of round. Steam rolls in. Moist heat wakes the lignin, the natural glue in wood, so fibers slide instead of snap. A windlass anchors at the base. The rope takes load. The cooper cranks. The belly starts to draw in inch by inch, while the hoops keep the ends honest. Here is the line to watch. Pull too soon, and the stave splits along grain. Pull too late, and the curve won't stick. The window is narrow, like forging steel. The temper lives in heat and time. You read it by the feel of the rope, the bend of the plank, the haze that rises off the shell. The wood tells you when it is ready to move and when it demands a pause. Under moist heat, lignin softens in a useful range. Humidity decides how deep the warmth sinks and how much spring back shows when the pull relaxes. Too dry and the bend scars. Too wet and it sags back to flat. Skill lives here, not in a number, but in the way the stave returns your push. Fire follows steam. A small blaze licks the inside. The belly warms first. This heat sets the curve and starts the flavor map. The hoop does the driving. Round shifts to right as metal finds its seat, and the wood stores a quiet spring. Toasting and charring split the path. Wine wants toast for gentle notes. Bourbon calls for a deeper burn that builds vanilla and caramel. A blackened layer forms, a thin carbon bed that will sweeten and filter the spirit that comes later. Now for the proof move. The croze groove waits, the head hovers. If the oval is true and the track is right, the head drops and the barrel's voice changes. A low wood thud turns crisp. That pitch shift says the circle has found itself. What locks it all? Equal segments leaning together under even hoop squeeze. An arch pushed around the full 360. The form is set. Now see how one cask can steer taste, and why that choice echoes through a market. Have you ever wondered why brewers pay extra for wood when steel is easier? This is how taste rides on a tool set. The same ring of hoops that sealed water now shapes beer and spirits. You pay for control, for layers, for a slow exchange you can't get from a tank. Old shops had a guardrail, trussing the cooper, a right that tested build and seal under watch. Pass, and you could stamp your work. Fail, and you start again at the bench. Then metal swept in, and the trade thinned. Warehouses chose speed and uniform shine. The craft held on in small corners, where the cut still mattered. So why did wood return? Small breweries and distillers wanted tools that leave a mark. Steel gives clean and cold. Oak gives shape. When batches got smaller, makers could chase a tone, not just a yield. They could order one cask for one run and repeat the note when it worked. Watch a hogshead get reborn. barrel to cast to firkin. It's like swapping a lens to fit the light. Same shell, new frame. You change the head, adjust the hoops, and the size steers contact and time. The drink sees more wood or less, and the voice shifts. Wood does more than hold. It rounds sharp notes and adds layers. Used bourbon barrels move again. They season scotch, then rum, then tequila. Each fill leaves a trace for the next. A chain builds flavor across borders, one cask at a time. One cooper's cut can nudge an IPA from thin to round. A thicker stave at the belly slows the trade, softens bite, and lands a longer finish. A stout in a deeper toast warms up from flat to plush. That is not romance. That is surface, grain, and heat, doing slow work. The microbrew rise push this further. Makers ask for custom toast and char. Not one level, but a map. Light at the ends, deeper at the mid. Buyers looked for oak from certain stands, and for barrels with a known first fill. They wanted a known path and a repeatable outcome. The craft lives by taste and story now. Even film sets call for true barrels, because the sound is right. The same geometry that seals liquid also edits flavor. Wood is a quiet ingredient, not just a container. You've seen the seal, the tools, the heat, and the market. Time to take one last look at what this object asks from its maker. A barrel is a circle of arches, cut by hand, sealed by physics, tuned for taste. It holds tight because wedge, hoop, and swelling oak agree. It speaks in clicks and low thuds, and the drink listens. That's it for today. Hope you liked the info, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.